it's from. Put your name on it.
J-A-C.
If you put it
Oh, yeah, you need to put your name on there. I know what you're saying.
M-I-L-L-E-R. Mayor.
Did you get
No.
that liquor licensing? Did you guys get it squared away?
Yeah, I got it. I just have to write the number on it. I'll drop it off tomorrow.
Because I never heard anything from Rob, so I don't know if he found another
No,
person to
no,
help
I'm
or-
it.
Okay,
And I'm signatory on it also.
okay,
So I just got to find the number.
okay.
And then we voted on it, approved it,
okay.
da-da-da-da-da. We
Perfect.
voted that. We gave money to somebody that needed money.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all done. It's just today's been one of those meeting days.
Let me guess, you voted on giving money to that person in Paulden where they had the fire? Is that what I saw on Facebook? You were trying
I
to
gave
find
him
out?
$300. I have a
we
full
ready, gang?
household of furniture. I have plates, silverware,
really
glass.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. What is he doing, jumping up and down? He looks like he's got that disease.
Look at him. There he goes again. He's two-stepping.
He's he's
That looks
dancing.
pretty weird, huh?
Wow.
Why is it?
Andrew, I didn't know you danced that well. No, he can't
I
hear.
can hear you, Mayor, but you're a little bit muted.
Yeah. Okay. Could we have roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Councilmember Kelly.
Present.
Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins. Here. Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Here.
Mayor Croft.
Here.
And Town Attorney is present by video.
All right. Let's go into item 2, which is introductions, presentations, and proclamations. Presentation by Kimberly Robinson, Partnership Specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau regarding U.S. Census in Chino Valley. Mr. Bruner.
There we go. Let's start over. Evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we have with us Kimberly Robinson. She is our census representative, our partner, so to say, and a census extraordinaire for this region. And she's going to give a little slideshow on why it's so important for Chino Valley to be counted in the surrounding area. Also, in addition to that, we'll have some video clips that our very own Matt Santos has put together, and they're just short little census awareness clips, and they're classic, and they're really, really well done. So, Mayor and Council, Kimberly.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here in Chino Valley. My name is Kim Robinson. I am a partnership specialist for Northern Arizona. I take care of Coconino, Apache, Navajo, and Yavapai counties. And my mission is to be a liaison between citizens and the community and the U.S. Census Bureau. So basically, any questions you have about the census, I'm here to answer it. Do I have my slideshow?
Address the council, yeah.
No problem. Actually, I'm so used to addressing the citizens. I hate to have anybody to my back. You don't count, but. And was
That's the way we feel too.
Let's see. Oh, here's my slideshow. Awesome. No disrespect to the council. I tend to address the people that need the information. Chino Valley, y'all have been on top of the census for over a year now. Some of you for 5 years. So this is nothing new to you. All right. There's my information. Ignore the Dallas Regional Census Center. I'm based in Flagstaff, Arizona. All right, so the census is confidential. What is the census? What do we do? It is in the U.S. Constitution that, sorry, Council, it's in the U.S. Constitution that every 10 years, we will count everyone in the United States. We've been doing this since 1790. The U.S. Constitution mandates that all your census information is kept confidential by Title 13. All census employees are held to a lifetime oath of confidentiality, but your information is released after 72 years. So every 72 years, detailed census information is made available to the public. So what's going to happen in 2022? Who's going to come knocking on your door? Not the Census Bureau, but Ancestry.com, 23andMe, all those folks that have your information. The 1950 census data will be released. The Census Bureau is completely apolitical. We are not influenced by cultural, religious, or personal beliefs. So, is that okay? Everyone can still hear me?
Yeah, now.
All right, good deal. So we do not engage in political debates. What happens with the data when we deliver it is completely up to the recipient. Now, how will the 2020 census invite you to respond? Most of you, 95% of households, will receive a questionnaire in the mail. That means that you receive home mail delivery. You receive home mail delivery. And what we're going to do, the U.S. Census is going to send you a postcard. We're going to send you a letter. And then if we haven't heard back from you yet, we're going to send you another reminder postcard saying, wish you were here, we miss you. And then your fourth mailing will be a reminder letter and a paper questionnaire. This is for folks that get regular home mail delivery. If we do not hear from you, or if you choose to wait for an enumerator or a census taker to come to your door, May 15th is the day you want to remember. All right, so March 12th is the first day you'll be able to fill out your census form online or via telephone. If we don't hear from you, or if you choose to wait, May 15th is when enumerators will begin knocking on your door. Now, for those of you in about 5% of the nation, you are in type of enumeration area 6, TEA 6. That means that you only get post office delivery. That is, welcome to your home, please go get your P.O. box. You will be contacted by enumerators as early as March 15th. All right, so you're not going to get a reminder letter. You're not going to get an invitation in your P.O. box or anything like that. What we're going to do is start knocking on doors about March 15th. And if we do not, if there's no one home, we're going to leave a census form for you. March 12th, though, if you don't want to see us again, you can go online or fill out your form via telephone starting March 12th. All right, so those two key dates. May 15th for those that get regular home mail delivery. March 15th for everyone in TEA 6. That means post office box only. You can fill out the census form online or via telephone. 2020census.gov as early as March 12th, 2020. 2020census.gov. Remember that there will not be an app to download. There is no 2020 Census app. That's one of the scams that we're coming across. So there's not going to be an app. It's going to be a mobile-friendly website. It will be completely secure. Please count everyone under your roof, everyone living with you. That includes grandchildren, foster children, someone living in your basement, tenants on your property that do not have a separate address. Count everyone under your roof. Please do not leave anyone out. Children 0 to 5 are the most undercounted population consistently. We don't have an official reason for that. It just depends on the community. So please, with your newborns, count them too. Other hard-to-reach populations, for example, low-income, no-income households, populations under 5 years of age, people experiencing homelessness, those with limited English proficiency. My rural residents, 95% of my territory is rural, and I'm foot stomping this. Rural residents are always undercounted, not as much as children, but rural areas are always undercounted. And for some folks, you move to a rural area for a reason, and it's not because you want the government to contact you, but please fill out your census form. Also, large multifamily or single parent households. For those folks that are sharing custody perhaps with a child, you can count that child in the household where she or he is as of April 1st. Now, we are looking for questionnaire assistance sites. Questionnaire assistance sites is hosted by practically any organization. And what this is a group of volunteers that have decided that they want to help their community fill out the census form. You have a questionnaire assistance site. where people normally gather. So all libraries in this county are on board. All libraries will be questionnaire assistance sites. Yavapai County has been on that for quite some time. You can have a questionnaire assistance site at an Elks Lodge or a recreation center or a community center, and all you need to do is let me know that you want to have a questionnaire assistance site, and I will send you information as to how to do that. Yes, sir. Yes. Absolutely, the librarians. Yes, the librarians in this county have already gone to training, and they're already on board for questionnaire assistance sites. So you can go ahead and tell anyone, if you need help as of March 12th, on March 12th, go into your library. Thank you. Now, the U.S. Census Bureau did do a huge media campaign. You probably heard a lot more radio ads. You saw a lot more stuff on social media. The U.S. Census Bureau used millions of dollars to reach 99% of households. That is our goal. We are trying to encourage and increase self-response. The whole goal is to decrease the number of people knocking on your doors. Self-response gives more accurate information than if an enumerator has to come knocking on doors and finding you. Also, another program we're doing, kicking off the first week of March, March 2nd through 6th, statistics in schools. I've reached out to several county superintendents, several principals, several teachers, and I believe that this county, Yavapai County, did receive the SIS information, and it may already be distributed to schools, but some schools may not have it yet. Basically, that's encouraging children to understand the census and how it's counted. And there are a lot of activities on 2020census.gov for children and students K through 12 to fill out, and also homeschool. On 2020census.gov, if you're curious as to how the form will look and what questions will be on there, you can go to 2020census.gov, and you can just search 2020 Census Form, or you can search about questions, and it will take you through every question on the 2020 Census Form with an explanation as to why we asked that question. Every question on the census form has a legislative reason or procedural reason to be on there, and there's a short explanation as to why. When you fill out your census form, you can put in as many as 99 people in your household. Basically, you're living in an arena, if you have that. But yes, you can put up to 99 people in your household. In this county, we're looking for 800 more applicants. This county's doing very well. We're at about 75%. We need about 800 more people to apply to work as enumerators. The pay here is $16.50 per hour, 58 cents per mile reimbursement. It's completely flexible. You work from your home plus a 40-mile radius. If you want to work elsewhere, you can get hired on, and you can let your supervisor know that you're willing to work in other counties. It's part-time. You can work as many hours you want or as few hours as you want. That's 2020census.gov/jobs. There is a waiver. If you have income-based assistance, your census income will not be considered with your income-based assistance. So if you're on WIC or SNAP or Section 8 housing, the state of Arizona has filled out a waiver that income, your census income, will not be considered for your income-based assistance. So you will not lose your WIC or SNAP or your benefits or your Section 8 housing. Now, how will you know that we're census takers, that we're legit? They will have an ID badge, enumerators will. They will have a phone and a tablet. The phone looks like this. It has a 2020 Census logo on there. All right, and also an iPad. They'll have an iPad with the same logo, and also a census tote bag that the lady is wearing around her with that 2020 Census logo. Census Day is April 1st. That's the official Census Day. It's April 1st to determine if someone's living, born, or alive. So people ask, when do I count someone? Where do I count them? Do I count my newborn baby? If your baby's here as of April 1st, 2020, you count your baby. But I'm not going to argue you down about whether or not to count your baby inside or outside your room. April 1st is Census Day, and that is the day where you determine where you're living and who to count. You have until July 31st to leave your legacy. March 12th through July 31st is when the census will happen. All right, after July 31st, that's what you leave the town of Chino Valley. Those will be your numbers for the next 10 years, unless the municipal council wants to pay someone to come back out and do a recount. We want to make sure that everyone, did I get somewhere else? We want to make sure that as many people are counted in Chino Valley. Our goal is 100% as usual, but it's very important that Chino Valley is counted. It's a little over $2,000 per person per year that will get allocated to this town based on census numbers. Up there is my information. If you have any questions, you can call me, you can text me. I work 7 days a week. I cover 4 counties, so don't worry about waking me up or am I busy or anything like that. Just go ahead and contact me. If you want a presentation to your organization or if you want more information about questionnaire assistance sites, just go ahead and give me a call or email me. Yes, sir.
What are some of the monetary aspects that's in it for Chino Valley? If we get counted properly and our numbers go up, and what's it also mean maybe for the state of Arizona?
Oh, for the state of Arizona, it could be another House of Representatives seat. However, all over, it's Title I funding, it's roads, it's schools, it's community centers, it's playgrounds, it's jobs. A lot of businesses look at census data to determine if they want to move a business here. It's almost everything that we touch. I've seen in some of my communities what happens with low, inaccurate census numbers. 2010 census numbers in one of my communities, they were only counted at 38%. I see the effect of that. Their school is crumbling, they need more playgrounds, their roads are crumbling. They did not get that federal money. But it basically touches everything and things that you don't even know happen. So land grants, block grants, just money coming in. Thank you, Scott. $675 billion is up for grabs. That's where the number, a little over $2,000 per person per year, comes in. Sometimes $675 billion is hard to conceive. It's like, oh, that's a lot of money. I'll never see that. But $2,000 per person per year, that's something that we can really chew into. So $20,000 from this census to the next per person, just that one child that you don't count, that you don't put on the census form, could mean $20,000 not coming into this community. Yes, ma'am.
Now, is that into the state, into the county, or into the town?
I'm hesitant to use trickle down. It is, it's the way the federal government counts it. So basically, yeah, it goes based on the population. So the federal government has come up with that number based on how much money that is available, $675 billion, and approximately 330 million people in the United States. The U.S. Census Bureau will deliver the census data to the White House on December 31st, 2020. You can start seeing what was allocated probably by the summer of 2021. Your town council might see it a little earlier, but the general population, the summer of 2021. Yes, sir.
Can you go on to the system now, Census 2020, and fill out your form early, or do you have to wait till a certain day?
No, sir, you cannot fill it out early. March 12, 2020 is the earliest date you'll be able to fill out your form online by going to 2020census.gov. You're also not able to call and request a form, and there will be no blank forms available for handing out. Yes, ma'am. All right, great question. How do we cover the homeless? People who are experiencing homelessness, they will be enumerated or counted in person, and that will probably kick off in March. What happens is we have census takers that go out to areas that we know there are several people experiencing homelessness. We get that information from complete count committees, from folks like Scott, who've told us, look here, look here. If they're in shelters, we look for administrative lists. You'll have enumerators visiting the shelters. So we'll go out and hand count as many people as possible. If you run a caregiving home, that will be enumerated differently. That is what we call group quarters, and that means that there's a bunch of people living there, not necessarily related, and not necessarily the ones paying the rent. And what we'll do is contact you and ask you either for an administrative list or an enumerator will come and hand count everyone there. The only places that are group quarters that we do not touch are domestic violence shelters, and we ask that our partners not contact them either. On the group quarters form, we have the information that's either on an administrative list or it could just be numbers. But yes, ma'am. On the census form, we do ask personal information, name, address, ethnicity. And you can see the questions on 2020census.gov. You can absolutely go to 2020census.gov and preview the questions, but it won't be available for answering until March 12th. Then we'll contact you and ask you. We'll either give you a call. There is a line there for your phone number. We'll call you, or you'll have an enumerator come knocking on your door. It is mandated in the Constitution that you fill out the census form, yes. What else? Great
Thank you.
questions. Thank you all very much.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Kimberly,
you.
for
No
coming.
problem.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go on to the next item, which is called to the public.
Mayor,
Mayor,
we have a couple of the video clips that we're gonna show you from the census that
Jack,
Matt
can
put
we
together
show
for
those?
us.
Okay.
as long as there's no more than 5 slides, it's good.
It's not slides.
That was a joke.
Mayor and council, this is put together by our own Matt Santos, and they're very, very clever. They're very quick, and it's great. Great work.
Because some numbers are just better than other numbers. Thanks for coming out tonight. We because sometimes higher numbers are good. Some numbers are just better than other numbers.
Last one.
Because not all numbers make sense. Make sure yours do. Online participation begins March 12th.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
So we want to thank Matt Santos. Those will be on our YouTube channel, on channel 67, whatever, or public access channel as well.
Okay, now I'm going to go on to call the public. Call the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone that would like to speak at call to the public? Elizabeth, why don't you come on up front?
Good evening, council member. I am Beth Vickery, an Eagle Level Frontier Girl, and I am here to share an update on my plans to procure a plaque for our 9/11 memorial. Last September, I announced my intent to raise $800 to $1,000 to buy a small plaque for our memorial. I am planning a big fundraiser for this fall. In the Chino Valley Review last week, Larry Holt stated if I came up short to pay for it, the group will help with that as well. This is the kind of unity Chino Valley needs, working together to support improvements in our town. When we work together, we can do great things and make a difference. I would like to thank Mr. Holt and his colleagues for their generosity offer of assistance. However, it's not necessary as I have been given generous donations totaling $1,000. My fundraiser will just ensure getting a larger plaque. Having sharing this wonderful news, I would like to offer my own assistance to the adult community who are trying their best to meet their own goal. Please feel free to contact me if you would like my help. After all, supporting one another to improve our community is the best way to achieve a better Chino Valley.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beth.
Okay, anyone else that would like to speak? Come on up. Tell us your name and
My name's Ryan Roberts. I think this will be the last time I stand up here for this, but just for clarification, last time we got a response on the lot splits. Some of it was not true and some of it was written and just kind of read out of order and added things in and didn't read all of the definition. My problem was the fact that streets, in the definition of street, it calls out as shown on a recorded plat, and so also in the definition of subdivision. I wasn't insinuating that every town in the whole state deals with land splits the way we deal with land splits, but that was just, I didn't get an answer on that, why it shows up twice in those definitions, but we're not held to that standard. If it's not on a subdivision plat, then, I mean, that was the question, which wasn't answered, and I was pretty frustrated with that. After that, there was a whole bunch of towns brought up that he said handle lot splits in the same way that he's thinking about handling lot splits, but none of which are due to the state statute. That was the question, was the state statute. None of these answers have anything to do with that state statute, and half of them aren't even true. So that's my problem, is every time I come up here, I'm called out by name by the town, and it's like smearing my name, and I don't understand why that is. Why is the culture that we're in this back and forth battle to make me look bad in front of everybody? That seems unproductive. The whole reason I'm fighting for lot splits has nothing to do with me. I don't have any land to split anymore. It has everything to do with like the old lady who needs to split off an acre off the back for her son, and she can't without building a road because there's an easement. A lot of these towns that were brought up, like Clarkdale, apparently from 1986, they hold parent parcel, but that's not true at all. I found several instances where that wasn't true. Parcel 40626-319L was split from a parcel in 2014, which was split from another parcel in 1995, which was split from another parcel in 1994. So that hasn't been the standard since 1986. There's plenty of instances that didn't happen. There's another one here that I have. the city of Prescott just approved a lot split where we created an easement last week. So Prescott does do lot splits, and they do approve them with easements. Prescott Valley might not do easements, but I know for a fact we just did a survey where it was a lot split. There was no easement. They dedicated a road, but when they dedicated the road, they didn't bring in any asphalt, no curb, no gutter, no utilities. I mean, I don't think that's the growth we want. So I just ask the council to think about that for a minute and ask, why can't we change the culture instead of this back and forth argument? Maybe a sit down and talk, or we can bring in other professionals other than just myself and the town, and we can all have a discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Town manager, we're gonna pass that off to you.
Sure. I just want to make a comment. In no way were we ever trying to disparage anybody's name when. Well, you asked the question, so we responded to you. That's the only reason, Mr. Roberts. Okay. Honestly, though, we did not mean to put you in that light, so.
We're not gonna argue here. Would you please
But
have?
I just want to clarify too, other communities may be doing some things in practice, but when we've called, those codes are what they have communicated to us. So.
Okay. Please meet with this gentleman and come to some resolution if you can. Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
I have something.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were talking called a public. I'm jumping the gun.
Okay.
Just wait.
Yes, sir. Please come up and give us your name.
Hi, my name is Chris Clevenger. I'd like to thank the council, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Gripman. My comments are on the contentious subject of the Brook Apartments. Have those plans been finalized? Nobody knows?
We can't respond
We
to
can't
you.
respond at this meeting. We'll take your comments and we'll bring a comment.
Okay, if they've been
Either
finalized,
that or you can contact
if,
developmental services and
right,
speak to them.
right. Mr. Cook informed me when I talked to him that, the developer's plan was to add, they're going in with 50% of their original plan. They want to add the rest of it later, which is unacceptable. They've reverted back to their original plans, which is a 3-foot wall, and the wall keeps going from 6 foot to 54 inches, and now it's 3 foot. And it's also staggered, which means people they don't have to climb over the wall, they can just go in between the staggered sections of the wall, right? And it's, like I said, it's gone back to the original plan, which is parking along the south border, which adds more parking in that area. So, I mean, who is approving these plans? Are you guys aware that their plan is to add on after they're done? And has the town made any concessions?
Well, it hasn't come to us yet, so we will have an answer for you the next meeting.
Okay, I'll be
Thank you.
here. But, I mean, the problems with the kids getting to the school with no sidewalks, the traffic problems, all that still remains, you know? It's still a problem, which needs to be addressed. You guys need to think about stuff like this, if you haven't already. I'm not saying you haven't, but we need to think about the direction that Chino Valley is going. And we need to think about our kids and how they're gonna get to the school. And a whole host of other problems that this brings in. I'm pleading with you guys.
We don't need to
Please.
plead. We're gonna do as much as we can to make it as
Thank you.
right as we can
But
under our current ordinances. We're not
That's
supposed,
another
we're
thing
not,
is those.
we're not supposed to respond to you until the next meeting.
Okay.
We're just taking your
The
input.
zoning laws though are written, those zoning laws were in place for residential land. Those need to be looked at also. I mean, they're antiquated zoning laws. They need to be revised and updated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, let's go on to response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town officials address matters raised during call to the public at previous meetings. And the one we have in the previous meeting is comments regarding a problem in Bright Star area of vandalism and dumping. And we have two departments involved, and I'll start with the first. Comment regarding vandalism and dumping in the Bright Star area, the response. This response is from both the police department and development services, as Mr. Odom had spoken with both departments. The police department has never told anyone it is okay to illegally dump on someone's property or on public property. This information has been reviewed by a number of supervisors at the police department as well as the town prosecutor. All agree that when what has occurred is a civil situation and criminal charges are not appropriate. The landscape companies are either subcontractors working for a contractor or working directly for a homeowner. If the HOA feels that landscape companies are not cleaning up after themselves in an appropriate manner, they should be contacting the contractor or homeowner who is employing the landscaper. The town prosecutor has agreed to meet with anyone who would like a more detailed explanation. So let's go on to Development Service Department, oversees code enforcement. Town code defines dumping in section 52.43 as dumping refuge. It is unlawful for any person to place or cause to be placed any refuge upon any public or private property within the town except as specifically permitted in this chapter. Code enforcement has received calls over the last 18 months from Mr. Odom and has responded to each one. They have visited properties and areas cited by complainant. In each instant, the staff has visited sites to determine if a violation occurred. It was found to be material staging by contractors trying to complete a job and not illegal dumping. Other complaints filed include yards in disrepair with weeds, etc. In these instances, code enforcement found no violation as weeds appeared to have just sprouted and staff felt it was important to give the property owners time to clean the yards before issuing a notice of violation. Regarding leftover material when contractor has finished, the HOA should be able to address this issue with the property owner using their CC&R requirements. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go on to current events, summaries, and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events. If listed below, there may also be a presentation on information requested by the mayor and council, and questions may be answered. No action will be taken. Does anyone have a presentation? How about, you have something? Go ahead.
All right, all I want to do is thank everybody who's out buying our book. We've sold over 55 books right now, and they're going pretty well. The people I've talked to has gone ahead and said the book committee, editorial committee, did a fantastic job, and I'd like to thank them publicly for all of their efforts. Thank you.
And what book is that?
That is the 50th anniversary for the town of Chino Valley.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Ready?
No, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Many of our community members have expressed the desire for the town of Chino Valley to adopt a resolution to become a Second Amendment sanctuary city. With the support of Vice Mayor Miller, many of our, how do I put this? Members of our police department, I would like our town council to consider taking action similar to the resolution recently adopted by Yavapai County. Ta-da, that's it.
and what we will require at least 2 council members to bring that to the next council meeting.
I support that idea.
So
At least to
2
do
of
the.
you will need to get together and take a look.
We are-
We'll have to bring that in for a vote in the next council meeting.
We need to have a public hearing.
No. We will
He
bring
said
it for
no.
a vote.
He said no, I believe.
Yes, we'll have our attorney tell us what we need to do, and we'll follow. I hope we don't get ourselves in a mire here with what we
And I
what
think
we
that's.
want to do, and
I think my opinion is that we need to research it and see what it
Right.
is and what requirements it puts on
Alright.
the town before we just go and vote for it. Maybe a study session item or something.
Okay. We don't have a study session scheduled for March. We do have one for April.
Are you disagreeing with that?
I'm not disagreeing. As far as I'm concerned, we have the
Like a
county
template.
resolution, and we could just send it to Andrew, have him revise it for Chino Valley, and call it a day. But I understand it's not that simple.
we will have our attorney research it, and if
Sorry,
and
Andrew.
we can meet those requirements, we will bring it to the next council meeting on the agenda, if we can. I don't want to push this thing off forever. I want to deal with it right now.
Okay.
Okay,
Providing
perfect.
our attorney legally says that we can do this and what we have to do.
Okay. I'll talk with Andrew.
Okay. All right, let's go on. Anybody else? Town manager, do you
No, I have
anything?
nothing.
Status report, item C, status report regarding August 4th, 2020 primary election ballot items. Ms. Lewis, the town clerk.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and council members. All right. So, let's go to the next one. As you know, election season is underway, and candidates are busy collecting signatures in the hopes of being put on the August 4th ballot. And I just wanted to let the public know and remind you that it's not too late to run for office, and anyone interested can contact the clerk's office to make an appointment and pick up a packet. The filing period starts March 9th and ends April 6th. So anyone interested can pick up a packet between that period as long as they got everything they need to completely turn it in on April 6th. And then after April 6th, we'll have the names of those who are going to be on the ballot on our website. And we also want to let voters know that they may only sign as many petitions as there are seats to fill. So as we have 3 council seats, voters out there should only be signing 3 petitions for council. And as we have 1 mayor seat, they should only be signing 1 for mayor. Ballot measures. The only proposition on the August 4th ballot is the alternative expenditure limitation home rule option, and I wish they would reduce the name. But this item determines whether or not our budgetary cap will be set by a state formula that was devised in 1980, or by a formula derived from actual revenues and current needs. We urge citizens to learn about or refresh their knowledge about this important ballot measure, which has been on the ballot every 4 years since 1985. For starters, we'll have 2 public hearings, starting with your next regular council meeting on March 10, and then the second public hearing will be on the following regular council meeting on March 24th. At that time, staff will present the proposition, all the details, well, not all the details, but as many details as is needed to hold the public hearing, and then council and public will have an opportunity to provide input, make comment, and ask questions. All right, now that you know that the proposition's out there, where do you get all the details? In addition to the 2 public hearings, over the next few months, we are going to be providing various educational resources on the item, from the very briefest of brief to the most detailed that any non-finance director would want to read. Information materials will include a brochure, a detailed fact sheet giving the whole history behind home rule. We'll be sending out a mailer to registered voters' household, no, actually to every household. There'll be podcasts, and households with a registered voter will all receive a voter information pamphlet in the mail in early July. And all of these will be on our website as well. And I believe, nope, that's not up. Yes, it is, the chinoaz.net/245/. And in the various media listed on the second bullet. So you'll hear about this. It'll be on the website, in the newspaper, on the radio, cable channel 57, and our social media links as well. Town officials will also be available to visit public groups, organizations, or clubs to give presentations and answer questions about the critical results of a yes or no vote. While town employees are able to provide factual information, council members, you are permitted to advocate either position on the proposition, so we encourage you to participate in this process. For those out there who want to have somebody come out to do a presentation and to answer those questions to their group, their club, their organization, contact the town manager's office to schedule a time. And for those who actually don't want to just learn about it, but they have something they want to say about it, if they have an opinion, pro or con, about home rule that they would like to share with all the other voters, there's a process for that. Citizens may submit a pro-con statement, which is also called an argument, to be placed in the pamphlet. The deadline to submit an argument is May 6th. And there are very specific guidelines for doing this, so we just encourage people to contact our office for more information, and there will be some guidelines up on the website after March 24th. And as a little sideline away from the election, just as a quick aside, there are, maybe there's public members out there who aren't quite ready to run for council, but they do want to get involved and they think they might want to do council in a few years. We encourage them to apply for a board, commission, or committee. Our recruitment process is going to be starting for that in a few weeks. And there'll be more information again on the website and the local newspaper, but people can apply at any time during the year. But we start appointing people in June. And so our first review date's going to be in late April. And anyone who's interested should get their application in by then. And they can apply online or contact Town Hall for that. And that's how they can contact us. Any questions?
Questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you
Right.
very much.
So if you thought you were busy before,
Yeah, no.
have fun.
Okay, let's go on to item 6, consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member will request to move an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately.
I'd like to remove B.
Item B
And A, please.
and item A. Then I'll need a motion to consider items C, D, E, and F.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve agenda items C, D, E, and F.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Let's go back to item A. Consideration of possible action to approve resolution number 2020-1154 for support of proposed House Bill 2899, which would increase the vehicle gas tax over the next 3 years. Comments?
I wasn't present for the study session, and I apologize, or the retreat, so I apologize for that. I was told that the majority of council was in support of this. I just wanted some feedback.
We can add it. Is there a motion to approve?
Well, she said she wanted feedback, right?
wants-
What-
Correct. I'd
You want
like,
some of your
I would
comments?
like some comments and
the
opinions on
comments
this.
from the-
Okay, anybody have comments?
Based on our attempt, I believe it was last year, to get some additional funds for our roads, the citizens declined. Therefore, that's what I hear from the people. They do want their roads fixed. There's a lot of information out there that the general population doesn't know. Not that it's secret, but I don't agree with this.
Well, my understanding is that Arizona as a whole is behind the 8 ball compared to most states as far as gas tax to help with our road system. I don't know about the rest of you, but I travel a lot of miles, do a lot of windshield time, and if you want to really tear your vehicle up, just do some miles on I-40.
Yeah.
Any road.
We're in pretty sorry shape. We need help.
I don't know, I'm in the middle on this one. I just don't know what, when they talk about increasing, I don't know what they're talking about, how much the increase is over the next 3 years.
Okay, 6 cents per year, so in
Total of-
essence, in 3 years,
Yeah.
it would double the gas tax from
Tot-
18 cents for an additional 18 cents.
So it'd be double it.
Right,
So that
right
means
now,
our
the gas
HERF
tax is 18 cents, and over 3 years, it will double it to 36
So our
cents.
HERF funding would double.
Yeah, it would double.
And this has
But
been reviewed by,
6, yeah.
Yeah,
About 6 cents a year.
Representative
Yeah.
Campbell has pushed this through to, it's out of the House Committee right now, it's out of the
I meant by our
Transportation
legal
Committee.
staff, it's all good to,
Oh, yeah, yeah, Andrew's been through that, he wrote the resolution.
okay, it's catch-22. I'd like to see the money of, you know, I'd like to see, you know, that whole trickling down thing, how that,
I
lot of
hate,
holes in the bucket.
yeah, I hate to see any tax of anything. Our roads are terrible. We receive what we call HERF funds, highway user funds, from the state. They have not been the state gas tax has not been increased since 1991. It has not increased with cost of living or anything that's going on. We would certainly like to have some more money come down so we can put more money on our roads. I'm going to vote for this for that reason. Thank you very much.
Do you have an opinion?
Oh, I think along with the
Mike.
gas tax on
Mike.
this,
Mike,
sorry, along with the gas tax on this, there's also a provision for electric cars and other vehicles that don't use gasoline that they'll have to go ahead and share part of the cost to repair our roads.
Come on, trucker man.
I know funding for roads is diminished year after year because we've not kept up with inflation with the gas tax, so I support it as well.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Not on A, thank you.
Okay. Now can I have a motion?
I'll make,
On item A.
item A, I'll make a motion that we approve item A as read.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
One nay. Motion carries. Item B.
I need to recuse myself
Okay.
to avoid the impression of
Be
impropriety.
noted that Councilperson Perkins will recuse herself because there are some issues. Anyone else have any issues with B?
One
she-
comment.
yeah.
I just would like to have Cecilia
Mhm.
explain for the public what this is and how important it is.
Okay, the fire department made us aware that there are 7 parcels that are on the Peavine Trail that are not in the Chino Valley Fire District. And when Jim Fletcher's project came in for Century Ranch, and they wanted to, and is east of the Peavine Trail, they wanted to be included into the fire district, and the fire district had no problem with that, but it's not contiguous then. So it leaves this area that would not be covered by the fire department, which always causes confusion. So even right now on these sections that are town-owned property on the Peavine Trail, if someone were to get hurt, or if even if there was a fire, that section technically could not be covered by the Chino Valley Fire District. So they provided us with the forms, and we have a resolution on here to have those annexed into the Chino Valley Fire District to make a contiguous property.
Any other comments?
Just, it's a matter of filling the gaps,
Yeah.
so.
Take your note.
Okay.
Comments?
Do we need to read it?
Yeah, I'll read it. Consideration possible action to approve resolution number 2020-1155 for annexation of town-owned areas of the Peavine Trail in the Chino Valley Fire District boundaries.
I'll make a motion, we approve consent agenda item B. as read.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's go on to action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public. No action may be taken in executive sessions. Let me go on to item A under action items. Consideration and possible action to approve Craftsman Court preliminary plat phases 1 and 2 to subdivide approximately 10 acres into 45 lots developed in 2 phases. Mr. Cook.
Mayor, members of the council, good evening. I'd like to introduce Will Dingy, who is the town's assistant planner, to give him opportunities to present to planning commissions and council. He was given this preliminary plat to take to planning commission, and now he's going to present to you the PowerPoint presentation. So go easy on him. It's his first.
Go Will.
Alrighty. Mayor and council, the item before you is a request for approval for the preliminary plat for Craftsman Court. This item was submitted by Paul Islanian, who is the property owner of record as well as the developer. Paul is in the audience tonight, in the back of the room. So this is just a quick overview of the subdivision process so far for Craftsman Court. The subject property received zone change approval back in December of 2019 under Ordinance 2019-876. Currently, we're in the preliminary plat stage. This is purely a conceptual concept for the plat for the subdivision. This is essentially just a staff review to making sure it complies with all applicable concerns or applicable criteria set forth by town code. Following approval of preliminary plat, the subdivision will go into technical review. This is where a lot of the engineering gets hammered out, drainage, grading, utility connections, things of that nature. This stage is completely handled by staff. You guys will not see this item come before you for technical. Following that will be final plat. It'll be the final stage in which this subdivision will be reviewed in front of council before approval and recordation of by the county. The subject property is located at the southeast corner of North Road 1 East and Juniper Drive. Directly north of the subdivision is the Colonia Villas subdivision. To the west is Country West Manufactured Home Park, the USDA Forest Service, Roadrunner Mobile Home Park, and Walker Estates subdivision. And then to the east is Chino Meadows subdivision and the Highlands Ranch subdivision. I'm going to exit out of this here really quick to pull up a better copy of the preliminary plat so we have a better chance of reading it and kind of following along. I couldn't get a good resolution in the PowerPoint. So when this item went before the Planning and Zoning Commission at the beginning of this month, we primarily discussed 3 items or issues that came up with the preliminary plat itself. The first one being the building setback table up here. Upon an initial submittal, the setback table was directed as proposed setbacks. These setbacks were stipulated during the zone change, and as soon as that zone change took effect, these setbacks became the approved setbacks for the town or for the development. We were able to relay this comment back to the applicant and get a revised preliminary plat before council meeting today. The second issue was the omission of a 1-foot non-vehicular access easement along the properties that have frontage along Juniper Drive. Staff had missed this originally on the submittal. Planning and Zoning Commission caught this, and we were able to receive modification to the site plan or to the preliminary plat prior to council today. And so you can see the non-vehicular easement represented on the plat here. And then the third item discussed was the North Road 1 East improvements. Under the preliminary plat, it just dictates a 20-foot right-of-way dedication, but per town code, we require pavement improvements, sidewalks, and landscaping. This is one of the items that are going to be handled specifically during technical review, not so much during the preliminary plat aspects. So we're kind of deferring that submittal, or not deferring the submittal, but hammering that out during the technical review. So I'm just going to kind of open this up to any comments or concerns that council has, and I'll do my best to answer them, or Frank or Joshua Cook here will help me out.
Let's go to this side. Questions?
Yeah, is there any way where in this plat that we're actually giving any reduction in what our typical code would be?
As far as a reduction, regards to setbacks specifically, we're giving a reduced setbacks. Typically under code, they're a lot more, or they're a lot farther back with the zone change criteria and stipulations. We were approved a modified setback to that. But as far as anything other than that,
The only reduction in straight code requirements were handled during the rezoning portion of it and approved by council. So all the stipulations that council added to the zoning approval are being met with this preliminary plat submittal.
okay, nothing additional then.
I'm good.
Anyone
Nothing
else?
for me.
Do I have a
We ready?
Yeah, you have a question?
No.
No, okay. Yeah, we're ready.
All right, I'll make a motion we approve Craftsman's Court preliminary plot phases 1 and 2 to subdivide approximately 10 acres into 45 lots developed into 2 phases. I'm sorry, in 2 phases.
Second.
A motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks for
Item-
going easy on him.
Okay.
He did a good job.
We didn't go easy on him. He did his job. He did good.
Wait till next time.
You only give him one chance. Item B, consideration possible action to approve the professional service agreement with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated for Integrated Water Master Plan, IWMP, and Capital Improvement Plan, CIP, for Old Home Manor, OHM, in the amount of $287,392. Mr. Marbury. Well,
Whoa, he got tall.
you have grown.
Lost a little weight too.
Wow, easy, Mike, easy, Mike.
Tough crowd. Mayor Croft, members of the council.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you. This is the item integrated water master planning for Old Home Manor. You've heard a lot of this in the past. I just wanted to recap how we got here today, just kind of going over recapping some of the activities. It was March 7th of 2019 that we first talked about, the Water and Utility Subcommittee met to discuss integrated water master planning overall townwide. It was at the March 19th council retreat that we actually focused in on the Old Home Manor as being the first phase of a integrated water master plan as that first step. In May of 2019, we set a budget for integrated water master planning of about $250,000. In May of 28 of 2019, the Water and Utility Subcommittee discussed the Old Home Manor integrated water master plan. June of 2019, the Water and Utility Subcommittee reviewed the Old Home Manor integrated water master plan statement of qualifications that would then subsequently be put on the street for bidding. July 9th, 2019, Water and Utility Subcommittee discussed again the integrated water master plan statement of qualifications. And July 23rd, the council meeting, we discussed the integrated water master plan statement of qualifications. And then August 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th of 2019, the Old Home Manor integrated water master plan statement of qualifications went out for published publication for submittals. October 2nd was the closing date for the submittals. October 31st, the integrated water master plan statement of qualifications scoring team received those, made a selection for the highest scoring contractor. That was Civil Tech Engineering. November of 2019, Civil Tech Engineering is notified, and we requested scope fee and schedule. November 21st, Civil Tech Engineering provides a scope fee and schedule to the town staff. in December of 2019. The scope of work reviewed by staff with recommendation adjustments provided to Civil Tech. And January 9th of 2020, Civil Tech met with town staff and we discussed and finalized the scope of work, the fee, and schedule. And here we are tonight before you for consideration for this project. Just real quickly, I know we're not at 3 slides, Mr. Vice Mayor, but I'll just take us quickly through a few of the slides, just to recap what this work entails. Phase 1, proposed work will have 4 master plans completed, 1 for water resources, 1 for the water system, 1 for the wastewater system, and 1 for the reclaimed water system, so a total of 4 master plans. Phase 2 proposed work. This will look at ensuring whatever is being proposed at Old Home Manor will be integrated fully into the town's existing and future expansion of the utility network. Phase 3 work, portion of the work, will be the 5-year capital improvement plan. This plan will look at determining the capital improvements for Old Home Manor, develop a 5-year capital improvement prioritization of those projects, develop cost estimates, and then determine improvements needed to the existing and future system. Phase 4, that's proposed work for developing an Old Home Manor landscape and drainage plan and design that would utilize stormwater for outdoor landscape watering needs, provide stormwater detention, retention, and drainage planning, and promote water efficiencies and water conservation. Again, our big goal of trying to save and use water efficiently. Phase 5 is project administration. This would be Civil Tech providing, if they're chosen, provide a council presentation at work session or council meetings, provide all workshops with appropriate town staff and officials, prepare a standalone executive summary of the master plan, deliver the integrated water master plans, deliver a capital improvement plan, and also deliver the hydraulic model for the water system, sewer, and reclaimed water systems. This is a proposed budget, a total of $287,392, broken out in the fiscal year 1920 of just over $129,000, and fiscal year 2021 just over $132,000. There is a Phase 6 contract allowance of $25,000. We're not sure yet if they need to go out and actually, this contractor would go out and actually measure some of the wastewater flows. That takes specialized equipment, installation, and so forth for monitoring some of those wastewater flows. So there is a contract allowance there. Proposed schedule. All work will be completed before the end of November of 2020 this year. I won't go into all the details of each one of the phases, but all the tasks are broken out there with a goal of having everything completed by November of this year. So therefore, staff proposal is we recommend approval of the Old Home Manor Integrated Water Master Plan contract with Civil Tech Engineering in the amount of $287,392 for fiscal years 19, 20, and 20 and 21. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Also, Richard Aldridge of Civil Tech is here. Jim Holt, who is their subcontractor for handling the water resources, is also here to address your questions. Myself or Frank Marbury are here to answer any questions you may have.
I'm gonna go this side to the water guy.
I have no questions. We've gone over this in our meetings.
For a year.
Yeah, for a year. And it's just one of those necessary items that needs to be accomplished so that we're ready to move forward. So, if there's any other comments that you have, Mark, as far as just generic for public on, the importance of this for the town, feel free to.
Sure, to address that, these are the plans and designs needed to ensure the successful infrastructure improvements needed not only for Old Home Manor, but what gets built beyond Old Home Manor. I've worked for larger municipalities where proper planning has not been completed, in which infrastructure is unintentionally undersized due to costs and so forth, which leads to major future problems. So these plans are your stepping stones for success for your water utility, managing your water resources, your sewer, your recharge, your reclaimed waters. All these are part of that one water cycle that if you do it right, again, this was that first phase we talked about, you're going to learn a lot from this first phase. And when you see that these are plans that are used by the engineering staff when development comes into Old Home Manor, or beyond that, we have those set of plans that will tell us what size infrastructure, how much water, those kind of activities. It's just critically important as we make future potential expansions of master planning for the town. It's actually absolutely critical that we have this information to make the best decisions, provide you the best information for your decisions as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You want on this side? Can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the professional service agreement with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated for the Integrated Water Master Plan, IWMP, and Capital Improvements Plan, CIP, for Old Home Manor, OHM, in the amount of $287,392.
Second.
Three.
All kinds of seconds.
That's a six.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Let's go on to C. Consideration possible action to approve the cooperative purchasing agreement with Inland Kenworth for the purchase of a 2021 Kenworth water truck for the roads department in the amount.
Sorry.
Oh.
It was for you anyway.
I was. Okay. In the amount of $135,103.59. Mr. Margaret.
Let me lower this a little. Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the proposal before, I believe we talked about it last summer. This bid is to replace a 1989 water truck the town has. I believe the mileage, I don't have the exact mileage, but it's somewhere close to 700,000 miles on that truck. And we're utilizing cooperative contract from Sourcewell to that has already gone through the bidding process, and the total purchase price is $135,103.59. And be happy to try to answer any questions.
This is a rebuilt water truck, isn't it? It's been around a while.
The old 1989, yes, sir.
Okay. This side.
This never came to Roads and Streets Committee for discussion, did it? I don't think.
Not that I know of.
It didn't come to study session either, did it?
No.
I think it was on the budget.
Budget process.
It was on the budget.
Came through the budget.
I've seen it before.
It was on the budget.
Yeah.
It was through some study
How many gallon
sessions.
truck is this?
4,000 gallons.
Okay, so same as the 89 then.
Correct.
So very, very similar, your mic. Very similar. Buttons on. Okay, looks like a very good price, actually.
Thank you. So it
Anybody
should
else?
be. Oh, sorry.
Anyone
ju-
else?
He's still talking.
I was just going to say, you asked about the specs. It should be almost a direct but more modern replacement of the existing water truck.
Okay.
So,
Anything else, Frank?
no, sir.
I'll
Anybody
make a
else?
motion we approve the cooperative purchase agreement between with Inland Kenworth for the purchase of a 2021 Kenworth water truck for the roads department in the amount of $135,103.59.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Let's go to item 8, executive session. Council may vote to recess the regular meeting and hold an executive session which will not be open to the public for the following purposes. A, an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-43103A4, bless you, for discussion or consultation with attorneys for the town regarding contract negotiations. Or item B, an executive session is pursuant to ARS 38-43103A1 for discussion or consideration of employment, assignment, appointment, or salary of town manager. Do I have a motion to go in
I'll
executive?
make a motion we remove to executive session after
Second.
10-minute
I
break.
have a motion and a second, and we will go into executive session after a 10-minute break.
Aye.
So Jack
Aye.
can go to the pot.
Aye. Well, you know you're gonna do